Let's go.
Hey TC, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good. You want to talk about SeatGeek?
No?
You don't? Well, that kind of puts a wrench in the whole intro.
Trey, I'd love to talk about SeatGeek.
Hey Austin, how you doing over there?
Hey Trey.
Hey.
You good?
You good?
Yeah.
Doing all right? I like your sweater.
Thanks.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's great. You know, buying tickets online for sports and concerts has been a confusing process for a long time. It's been hard to find the best deal for that gamer show that you want to go to, and none of those older
You don't
ticket
gotta
sites.
just read it.
We don't gotta read it.
Like put it in your own words.
All right.
You know, like talk about your personal experiences, why you love SeatGeek, and
You know-
more than anything, have it last only a minute, please.
SeatGeek's great. When Kevin Smith comes back in town to Denton, I'll
got
probably
5
use
seconds.
SeatGeek to buy tickets, and there's codes, there's offer codes.
I'm just kidding. You gotta watch.
Yeah, SeatGeek is pretty awesome. It's an awesome app you can get on your phone. It gets all the prices, and you know it shows you the good deals, the bad deals, so you can make the decision for yourself. And for Super GamesCast 64 listeners, I was about to say viewers, but this is an audio medium, not a visual medium. You can go on the app and type in the promo code SUPER.
Yeah.
And you get a little $20 rebate off your first SeatGeek purchase.
Oh, can I now?
You can do that if you want to. Yeah.
I probably will.
TC, have you ever done that?
This is probably about a minute.
All right.
Hey, what's that website again, Trey?
It's SeatGeek.com.org.gov. SeatGeek. Build it beautiful.
Just .com. And that's definitely a trademark phrase by another company.
It totally is.
100% illegal what you just did.
We're going to jail. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Super GamesCast 64. This is the show where we talk about the games that you play on your videos. My name is Trey Mitchell. To my immediate left this time is Austin Guttery.
Hey.
We got a special guest, not very well known, up-and-comer in the world. We got TC Fleming here.
I mean, like that. You sound like you're saying it like a joke. Like that's obviously true.
Well, everyone knows who you are, though. Everyone who's listening knows who you are. That's what I'm saying.
You maybe, but I mean that's a commentary more on like the size of the audience.
Well,
as opposed to like my notoriety.
I think I'm just all right. I guess I was just making a comment on the audience. They would know who you are, but I apologize. That was maybe a bad.
No, it's not bad. I don't mean to be so. I mean, I do mean to be critical about the 1 minute thing. I feel like that's something that we as a network really need to focus on.
Yeah,
not you specifically, but like
across
the board.
Brad and those idiots.
Dude, Brad does a terrible job about it. Like I confronted him multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. Let's talk about Civ 6.
Sorry.
I'm already I'm doing a terrible job. I'm not making your podcast any better.
No, I'm doing a terrible job.
No.
We're all doing bad today.
You're doing great.
No, so this is Super GamesCast 64. We got TC here. TC of It's Just Banner fame and ticker fame at the ticket, and you came up to me when we started doing this and saying that you had an interest in talking about Civ 6.
I said I had to be on the Civilization one. I said I wouldn't let you do your podcast unless you let me on the Civilization one.
Exactly. So
I love Civilization.
Yeah, it's a very interesting game. My freaking glasses are fogging up. I don't usually wear these glasses.
It's humid outside.
It really is. I'm wearing the jacket too. Now, Austin over here this has like been your game you've been waiting for all year.
Oh,
right?
wait, no, not all year. Half decade since Civ 5 came out?
When did Civ 5 come out?
They take a while. I think it was like 2010.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for people who don't know, talk about what Civilization is.
It's basically
It's all life in society.
Yeah, it's a big virtual board game, essentially, with a lot of moving parts, which you became experienced in, Trey. You saw how intricate everything is.
Extremely intricate.
Yeah.
Like, you have to not have anything else going on. You have to be focused to play this game.
Right. It's basically what the title described. It's just you play as one society throughout history, basically from the advent of agriculture all the way to not just present day, but a little bit in the future. You pick a country, and you start out at 4000 BC, and every turn you take moves the calendar forward a little bit until you eventually get to 2050 AD, and so you compete for space and resources and
social media. And
yeah, and
when also was given me the tutorial and showed me how to play, I looked and we saw that there was you could build sports arenas.
Yeah.
And you could have social media be your infrastructure. And I'm like, oh, we could just call this the sports bully country. Yeah.
And that's what you named your...
yeah.
And you were basically aiming to be Bob Sturm.
I wanted to be Bob Sturm.
Emperor Bob Sturm throughout history.
That was the goal.
And that's what we did.
Yeah.
Did you play anymore after our little...
A little
lesson?
bit. I mean, it's something where it's...
Trey, you don't need to lie to me.
Play a little bit.
I know you didn't play.
I played it.
Did you catch on at all?
Not really.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It was tough. Mainly just because I have a lot of other things going on, and it's hard to play at the station where there's all these other distractions. Fernando's looking over my back. But
yeah.
Man, I feel like that would be all I would do during overnights. I feel like that's the perfect overnight activity.
It is, and I just discovered you can do remote play on PlayStation 4. And I think Xbox probably has it too on your Mac, so I could just have it on at home and play whatever at the station.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I did overnights, that ate up so many nights and so many missed commercial breaks from just next turning and everything. And it's a really good, if you need a nice time suck or if you need to just kind of time travel.
Yeah. It takes a while to play one game, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends, but on standard pace, it can take, a few days to a week.
Yeah.
Man, I always play quick.
Really?
Yeah. I have a very specific set of... I don't like any victories except domination. I don't like a lot of civilizations. I enjoy duel quite a bit.
Yeah.
We'll sometimes expand to 4. Would think about 6 at some point, but we haven't really gotten there. And yeah, play quick. And I mean, it's not like quick is quick. Like quick is like it takes several hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like every flight I've been on for like the last year.
Same here.
Yeah, like this, it's a great activity for flying. It's a very double-bladed sword, though. Like, I'd find a lot of nights that I wish I had done something else, and here I am, and it's 3 a.m., and I've played one game of Civilization.
Yeah.
Because there's no natural stopping points at all.
Right.
Like that's what's great about, like, FIFA and Madden is, like, you just say, I'm going to play 2 games, and you're fine. Like this, like I don't know anyone who would say like I'm going to play a predetermined number of turns. Like I don't have a stopping point. It's like when the game's done, and if you get home from work and start a game, like you're probably not going to be finished by the time it's like reasonably time to go to bed, and that's tough. That's made me just really focus on. Like, I no longer take it lightly starting a game.
Yeah.
Like I make sure I've got some time.
Right. Yeah, I've had so many tired mornings at work from, being at midnight. I'm going to play a little bit before I go to bed, and it just, it's
terrible. I've done it, and I can't do it.
Yeah, it's like the stereotypical joke about it, but it's really true. You just don't look at the clock for a little bit, and 2 hours have passed.
And there is really no stopping point. It's just every single turn, it's a new thing you got to do. It's just, it keeps going and going and going, and
yeah. It's
very addictive.
Yeah, you typically have 4 or 5 little goals going in your head. I want to get this resource. I want to build this city over here, and I want to attack this person. And so each turn gets you a little closer to each one of those goals. Once you've accomplished one, you've got another one, and so there's no way to stop because you just want to get to that next.
And you never accomplish like all 4 of the goals in your head at once,
right?
So like by the time you've accomplished one, well, like all right, these other ones aren't done, so I'll keep going. And then you find like another goal in that area. Yeah. Yeah, it gobbles up time quickly.
Oh yeah.
I'm mainly talking about Civ 5. I don't know that it might be a little too complicated for me now.
Really?
Yeah, I might be too dumb to play this version.
Oh no. What about it?
I felt very dumb playing it, but I'm not as smart of a guy as you are, so that's might be saying something.
Well, going into it just head first, you've got to either do a small tutorial version or have someone show you.
You almost have to write things down.
Yeah, pretty much. TC, what was a little more difficult this time?
I mean,
around?
maybe I should have. I don't know. I just don't like fucking with tutorials. So maybe that's like my whole. I'm taking personal responsibility for all these problems. I'm not saying that the game makers have made any mistakes, but just I don't know. I feel like I didn't play the expansion packs of Civ 5 that much, and so
really?
I think that they carried over like a lot of things that they added there. Okay. So it was maybe a little bit more of a shock for me than it was for most people. But just the various like I just felt like I was pretty good at Civ 5. Like I could win every time I played on difficulty 6, and a decent number of times I played on difficulty 7, which I think is pretty good. And I don't know. That certainly has like not carried over. Like I get fucking slaughtered pretty quick on 6.
Well, that makes sense jumping from vanilla Civ 5 straight into 6, because 6 carries over basically everything that was added in the 2 expansions for 5. The religion and the trade routes and a lot of the new diplomacy options and everything.
So building the religion, that's a new thing for Civ 6?
Yeah, so Civ 5, when it came out, vanilla version was...
But is it that different than... Like, they don't have happiness now, right?
Right. It's not called happiness, but there's a similar system in place now. The amenities system basically is your happiness.
Yeah.
Whereas in Civ 5, it was a global number, and it was super hard to keep it up. Now it's like
for
city-based.
Yeah, just making sure you have enough housing. Okay, I didn't really make a connection between those two things, but that makes sense.
Yeah. And I liked that a lot, because happiness was like one of my most hated parts of Civ 5.
I didn't get it at all. Like it was clearly like super wonky, because like even in games where like I was kicking ass, like my happiness would be like 3, and then like you look at the give you the update on how everyone's doing, and it'd be like my opponents who are clearly about to get fucking wrecked have happiness of like 60.
Yeah, they've concentrated on. It's really just gathering luxury resources, trading with other people for luxury resources, and building things that would entertain people, like stadiums and arenas and everything. And
man, I don't have that much patience for. I don't have any patience for trade.
It's tough. The AI sometimes is not very good with trade. The only thing I'll ever do it for is luxury resources. If I need more amenities or happiness, whatever you want to call it, that's the only thing I'll do it for, because that's a really good way to just set it and forget it. To keep your happiness up, basically, is just trade for luxuries.
Yeah. I mean, I probably should do that more often than I do.
As long as you have it above 0, you're fine. I mean, like a happiness of 1 is going to be equal to happiness 60. It's just you're more likely to then slip below 0 and slow production.
And really, I don't know. I'm very comfortable with something before -10.
Yeah.
Like it only really starts to give you harsh penalties at -10.
Yeah, where a barbarian starts spawning inside. If you have it too low.
And like there's heavy penalties on like all construction. And
right.
There's a penalty in battles, and it's pretty fucking onerous whenever it's -10.
Yeah, it gets bad.
So -3, I'm fine.
Cool.
I can win some games on -3.
So I guess what are some improvements between 5 and 6 that you're seeing? Or how is it different? And I guess how does it make it more accessible or less accessible?
Right off the bat, the art style is a lot nicer. In 5, it was very realistic looking, and things started to get kind of cluttered, and the map looked very busy and everything. Now it almost looks like a mobile game now, where everything's a little colorful, almost cartoony, but it works. There's enough colors mixed with enough realism to kind of make you get involved and feel like you're involved, but still know that you're controlling a whole civilization and not, get bogged down in the details.
Mm-hmm. The one thing visually that kind of throws me off still is I liked the old way of showing like the shroud better.
The fog of war.
Yeah, like the areas that you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It looks too much like the totally undiscovered part of the map, like the color scheme used.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The parts that you've found of it, you're not currently in where the map is drawn.
Yeah,
looks the undrawn map needs to be real light, and then the parts you've discovered need to be really dark.
Yeah,
and then the stuff you're in needs to be colored, but it just blends too much.
Yeah,
I really liked the fog from 5. Like it looked like actual like undiscovered territory and stuff. But still, it looks really cool when your unit moves across the map and the watercolor kind of fills in and it looks like it paints as it goes. I think it's pretty pleasing.
I'd agree with that.
Another big change is probably my favorite change is now science and social policies are no longer just kind of you're just running on a track and just research this one, forget about it, research this one, forget about it. Now they have a bonus system basically to boost your research for those. So whereas before you'd say, I want to research shipbuilding and it takes you 10 turns or whatever, and you just kind of click it and forget it. Now each one comes with a little chore for you to do, and if you complete it, they'll give you half the tech. So you have little things to do to help boost you. So like if you want to up shipbuilding, you build if you want to up sailing, you just build a city on the coast, and you've already gotten half the tech for sailing, essentially. So whereas in Civ 5 you would have long turns with just next turn, next turn, next turn while you have something in production and something else running. Now you're more involved. You're actually always doing something, which is a lot more fun. So you'll want to build a specialty unit to find this certain thing that'll then open up this tech for you, which will open up a few more units. And same with the civics. They have boosts. And
I think that some of the idea there was that it would make it so that like your position on the map would kind of dictate different societies. Like that in Civ 5, it was very true. I pretty much had one strategy no matter where I was going to do the same, X number of things. And really that's kind of what, like whenever you stop playing it, it's because all the games are too similar.
Right.
And they're trying to like directly attack that problem. So now like the various bonuses to advance your technology that you can achieve are like, there's way different opportunities there. So it's going to make it so that each path is a little different. I guess I just would have preferred something closer to like a happy medium between Civ 5 where you're doing, because whenever they initially said like, we're trying to make it so like your path to success will vary a little bit from game to game. I was really excited for that because like I could see that was a definite flaw. And that it was cool they were correcting it, but I probably just need to play more, but it feels like they've corrected it too much, and so now I have like no comfort level, and it feels like, it just feels like I don't know how to play the fucking game every time I play it, even though I've played it a couple times and have a pretty deep knowledge of, like all the Civ games that came before, although, like I said, not the expansion packs, which are, it's a pretty crucial step. I acknowledge that. But just, I don't know, it feels like through like the number of playthroughs that you would have needed to get like a comfort level and like know what you're doing and not feel like there were giant advantages that you were missing out on because you didn't understand what sequence to do things in. Like the number of playthroughs you needed for that in Civ 5, and the number of playthroughs you need in this one, it seems like a way different number. Like I feel like you'd need a lot more experience in this one to like really kind of get your feet under you.
Yeah, especially without playing the expansions. It's this basically is a base game with 2 expansions, and so you're being thrown in real deep. And like even for me, who I was still playing the Civ 5 Brave New World up until when Civ 6 came out, it still took me a week or two to really kind of get every little fine point that was there and get me comfortable with it. And yeah, I feel like maybe they threw a little too much stuff in on this one, but some of the stuff in those expansions for 5 was so good they couldn't leave it out purposefully and then just add it back later. I think maybe what would have helped is if they had an option for like your first playthrough where you could play a like watered down version where they took out half the systems and then once you get used to that, then you can play the full game where it just adds a few more things on top of it.
Yeah, if I could, and it also is like the way I play Civ 5, like, it really poses some questions about what I want my life to look like.
Yeah.
Like it can be so engrossing of I'm pretty sure that if I played this enough, I could get the hang of all those things, but then I'm kind of like terrified of my ability to self-regulate.
Right.
Like it's such a deep experience in this one, that like if I dove all the way in, like, I don't know, I'd probably be left with a deep sense of regret over all of the opportunities that I passed up because,
right,
like, just whenever you're determining your self-worth and like you arrive at your self-worth by like the number of skills and achievements, and I'm talking about like in real life, not in a video game, but like in skills and achievements and everything, and just I don't like the time that it would take to get a good skill at this game. I don't know that I would be a commensurate like feeling of fulfillment in my life. I don't know if I'd be proud to be me if I was really good at Civ 6, like the kind of good that the game seems, like the kind of hours that game seems to require, you know?
Yeah, you always go into it and then leave it with no sort of real feeling of accomplishment or that you've bettered your life in any sort of significant way, because you almost always get crushed. And when you win, you've just crushed everybody else, and you kind of just are at the end of in this bleak future where everything's war-torn, and you just leave, and you come out of it.
I like that a lot. I like leveling some enemies.
Yeah.
But yeah, because there's a reason I play it, you know, like there's a reason why I've had as many hours of Civ 5 as I do, and that was like the main thing, like the kind of why I was like pestering you guys to come on the podcast to talk about that, because like in real life, I feel like it's and this is kind of like one thing that video games are always really good for, is that it takes the problems that you face in life and kind of lets you play through them in a situation where there aren't any like real stakes. Mm-hmm. And so it sort of just makes the whole thing feel comfortable, like, you know, by going through these same rhythms in this no stakes universe. I find it very relaxing, and it, you know, whenever I'm able to like accomplish these things in the game, it gives me a sense of confidence that like then I will be able to accomplish them in life. I don't know. You know, like with all forms of entertainment, it's a very exaggerated form of whatever you're facing in life, because I'm not actually trying to build like a real civilization. But like, you know, just in like being a homeowner, you know, like there's the same sort of like, I've got these goals and I don't know how I prioritize them. You know, like, do I want to work on like, you know, making the patio better? But like also there's a room where like the foundation is sagging a little bit, and like, you know, and to do all of this, I have to like build up, you know, a certain amount of capital. Like I gotta, you know, up how much gold I'm getting per turn. That's going to make this entire thing easier. But well, how do I accomplish that? Just like how all of your goals work together, and then the infrastructure that you build to allow you to accomplish those goals. That's like the entire game of Civilization. And that's also like a giant chunk of like, you know, day-to-day life. And so it just feels like it's using the same parts of my brain. And so whenever those parts get a lot of exercise in this way, I find that to be very beneficial for me.
It is. It's really kind of cathartic. You can take everything that's bothering you in your everyday life and kind of play through it in a world where there's no consequences, where you can take risks and you can, you know, maybe fuck up your entire empire, and at the end of the day, you're still fine for it. And it does really help the logic part of your brain, kind of in the forward planning, to where you can't just take it passively. You have to be jumping ahead, and it helps you learn
decision making too. Just because like playing Skyrim, that made me think of just playing RPGs like that. Where
I play Skyrim for very similar reasons.
Yeah, you have a list of things you gotta do. Okay, I'm gonna pick this mission, and okay, am I gonna join this legion or this legion? Am I gonna, you know, you have to. It's a lot of snappy decision making, or then you kind of figure out what you want your character to be, or you're gonna play yourself. Like all those games, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be an asshole, but then it's like, okay, wait a minute, I don't want to be an asshole. I want to play this, you know, the right way or the good way. And it's sort of, yeah, it's very much of an exercise of making decisions you would make.
And like every time you accomplish one of those small goals in the game, I do get like a fraction of the sense of accomplishment that I would in real life. And those things are so few and far between in actual life. Like the times whenever I do save up to be able to do some piece of home improvement that I was hoping to do, like then I feel fucking great for a couple days, you know? And just feel like everything's in control and I'm going to be able to handle it, and life is not spinning out wildly the way that I feared that it was.
It might be.
You know, it quiets the voices for like a couple days. And that same sort of thing, like it's much smaller and it's much shorter amount of time, but like I feel good for 5 minutes whenever I fucking dispatch China the way that they had coming to them.
It's almost like some weird sort of mental masturbation to where it's like you can basically practice your everyday life goals like that on a smaller scale, and you get a smaller reward, but it still does make you feel better. So
that's why, if I'm talking about like kind of shitting on the game of like, I don't know if I want to get good at it because I know the amount of hours that I would have to put in. I'm not regretful of the amount, some amount of the hours I've put into Civ 5 I feel good about. Like there are some benefits here. There's a reason I play, and it's not just because I totally lack self-control. There's good to be gotten out of it.
Well, for me, being in a creative job all day where I'm creating and drawing and writing and exercising the right side of my brain, it's nice to come home and for a couple hours just do purely left brain stuff of just planning and logic and rigid. And I need to get this at this time and it's a real nice exercise for both half of my brains.
Yeah, I could see that, definitely.
So Trey, as a Civ virgin, I want to hear what you basically thought overall of everything.
So you never play these games?
No. I mean, I play a lot of games, a lot more story, a lot more open. Where
have you been aware of them the whole time?
Oh yeah, I've been aware of them.
So, I mean, like this, like I played the first Civilization, whenever I was like, I don't know, second or third grade.
Mm-hmm. No, I've been aware of them. I just never really got into them. Like I was really big into Nintendo, like strictly when I was in like middle school and elementary school, and then
it's mainly a PC game.
Yeah, then I fell off, and for like a few years, and I came back at around like playing video games around 2011, and I started playing more story based, open worlds like Metal Gear Solid.
What were you doing in between there?
Watching a lot of movies.
Like mainly focusing on frat stuff?
Yeah, frat stuff, bro. No, it was mainly watching movies. Like that was between high school and in college, where I was just watching I would go to a movie training company on the weekend, buy like 5 movies and watch them all that weekend. And I just wasn't playing video games. But I've always been aware of things like Civ and StarCraft and like these more PC-centric games. And I've always liked the idea of a game where you could build an army and build a civilization. So the idea of it intrigues me very much. It's mainly I have such a backlog right now. I'm gonna have to just one day sit down and be like, oh, and I do because I like the game when we played it. I just got to sit down and really focus and maybe take notes and actually play through it. It seemed kind of overwhelming to me. It is. Yeah. I feel like I have so much on my brain every single day that I feel like it just, even like I played this really crappy game called My Name is Mayo just to get a platinum trophy on PlayStation. And like that was giving me a headache, even though it was just a tapping thing. Cause it's just like, for some reason I can't settle down. My head's always turning with stuff. And so it's very hard for me to focus on one thing. And when I do, I get that same thing where it's like, okay, I need to be doing something else. I can't just be putting 2 weekends ago, I just played Skyrim nonstop. I'm like, okay, I got to play other things. I got to do other things. I got some other work to do. So I feel really guilty if I do that for way too long.
Yeah, both these games, like, I've through trial and lots of error have like determined time. Like I don't start playing Skyrim after 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
I just don't do it.
Yeah. But I've enjoyed the game though. Can you like build armies, and do they show the armies? You can take your amass a humongous army. Okay.
It's a big balancing act of if you build a huge army, you're not going to have enough gold to start to build farms or anything. Mm-hmm. And so you've got to make, if you want a huge army, you got to make sure your people are fed as well.
Right.
And so that's kind of where a lot of the strategy comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty late game before you can, like, I don't know. I feel like the army growth for me is usually pretty exponential. Mm-hmm. Like it's low and steady and just what I need to be able to defend myself until I've built, then I'm focusing on like the stuff behind that. And then once I've got a civilization that's complex enough to like, bring it, the economy is good enough and everything else, that you can then fucking really ramp it up. Then I get like, 30 stealth bombers.
Yeah,
I'm always stealth bomber heavy. I haven't even got. I've played several Civ 6 games, but like none of them super far in. I haven't gotten to see if like stealth bombers are still the thing.
I've always lost Civ 6 before I've gotten to that point.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Have you not beaten it yet with military? Or
I guess finished 2 games and lost both of them. I did a multiplayer one with a few friends, and one of my friends won a culture victory, and then the other one, someone else won a science victory.
Okay.
Trey, I think the reason yours may have been overwhelming when we played it is because we played as America, and America doesn't have a specialty.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah, they're kind of balanced as far as you can go any direction, so we didn't have a clear goal, so it felt like we were going all over the map.
Yeah.
And the way I like to play Civ 6 is I go in expecting not to win, and then I enjoy the whole journey there. It's a lot of Civ for me is the journey, not the destination. I have fun, building a new city and getting a resource I want and doing a little diplomacy. But if we had played as someone else, or if we had picked a focus, basically, where if we had said, we're going to go for a culture victory.
Yeah.
So basically start at the end, say, I want a culture victory. What do I need for that? I need a lot of tourism. What do I need for that? I need a lot of great works. What do I need for that? I need a lot of theater squares and everything. So then we'd have a set plan where, okay, we need to start getting policies that'll get us culture. We need to find space for the theater square. We need to find civics that'll get us great people. So then basically you would have a plan laid out for there, and you know which resources you need to get, which lands you need to get, once you learn all those things, of course. But yeah, ours was a little erratic.
It's just going to take me sitting down and focusing all my time and effort onto that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you get the hang of it, it starts to get really fun when you know where you're headed, basically.
So you've been teasing on the last few podcasts we've done. You've been teasing an achievement.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so the producers are really active on Reddit, and I check the Civ subreddit every couple of days just to see for updates and everything. And on one of the updates they showed the civic system, and I commented, try to say Civ 6 civic system 5 times fast, and I got a few upvotes, and it didn't do much. And then they released the list of achievements like the day before the game came out, and someone on Reddit from the development team, I got a message that said like, check the comments, you had a achievement named after you or something, and one of the achievements is called Civ 6 Civic System, but it's misspelled. And so I think I contributed to the name of an achievement.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah. There's a dude who's been trying to work Ragonk into Madden like he works on the team, and he has not yet succeeded, but I'm really hoping. It would mean a lot to me.
Great.
That would be great. But you've enjoyed it so far, Trey? You've enjoyed what you played?
It's definitely it's interesting to see the what is a PC game, and what usually PC games are and what usually like console games are. And PC games are definitely more strategy, more you're putting time into it. Like you put time into making a PC. It seems like the whole.
What about people that play Sonic on the PC?
Yeah,
ooh, they're pretty fast, man. Gotta go fast. Gotta get those Chaos Emeralds.
Don't y'all you surely thought like it was a form of a mental handicap if people would play like Sonic on the PC or so, like just the games that were obviously made for a console, but they'd be like, I'm just gonna play like people who play Madden on the PC. Like
that's pretty dumb. Yeah, it's.
I'll never get like the companies shouldn't release it. They shouldn't indulge that kind of behavior. Like you also don't make like blatantly racist games, because you don't want to promote like just sort of outlandish sort of stuff like playing Super Mario on a PC.
Yeah, that's horrible, man. That's offensive to my Italian ancestors.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
I'm offended by that.
It's just not. It's not right.
Not right. I guess I think people do the
He said
they rip them, but
sure did.
What did I say?
You said doo-doo.
Doo-doo?
Just letting you know.
I mean, I get it as far as like people getting ROM hacks, but yeah. I mean...
Yeah, like once the console's like no longer being produced.
Yeah.
I just got to buy this crappy controller to plug into my Mac if I'm going to... And the other option is just not play Chrono Trigger through for a 5th time, and who the fuck wants to do that?
Stupid, man.
It's they don't really do that much anymore, because like remember... Like Halo came out, it was Xbox and PC, and they did that up through Halo 3, I think.
They're still doing that now. Microsoft has really started to kind of almost merge the two platforms, where Xbox is almost just a PC, but you played at home.
Yeah, it's a TV, PC, basically.
And there's still a big difference in like sensitivity.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's much easier to play a first-person shooter on a PC than it is with a controller.
But it's more fun to play it with a controller.
It is more fun. I don't like PC. I don't like using the keyboard. I get the mouse, but I don't like the keyboard.
Yeah, I don't like the keyboard at all.
That's why Civ is perfect, because you can just
you
have your dinger in one hand, you can have the other one up on the mouse, and just it's all 100%. Left click. Totally.
Click. So yeah, any final words on Civ 6? Unless anything else you want to add?
Yeah, Trey, you were talking about how you like story-driven games and everything. This wasn't it. It's the greatest story of all time.
It is
right?
the story of mankind.
Story of us. And you know what? You can make your own story.
Oh.
Yeah. As long as it fits into one of the 5 victory conditions.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't have an alien victory.
No.
I can't summon.
I mean, we haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, we'll see.
So they need to get like an alien victory in there. They need to get a.
Well, there is in Beyond Earth.
Cthulhu. Oh, I guess that game did come out.
You go in space and do the exact same thing.
Beyond Earth was like. I bought it. I like spent money on it, and I played like 3 turns and was like, "Fuck this."
I got all jazzed and I stayed up till midnight and I played half a game and I have not touched it since. It was
once.
Just a glorified mod, basically.
And it's got like a lot of the things I don't like about Civ 6, but like much worse.
Yeah.
Like it's way too complicated and for like no fucking reason.
Right.
Like it doesn't feel like it adds to the experience at all. It just adds to the difficulty of playing the actual game. That's the only thing they accomplished. They made it harder to play.
And at least with Earth Civ, when it's complicated, you can relate to it. You know the things that you're building, and you know the story of how the wheel got made and the printing press got made, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I can go on this road. But when you're building fucking hologram decks and lasers and space food and everything, it's just kind of
there's not really a line you can relate to.
Right.
Yeah. That I did like that. The I guess not the perk tree, but that's the only way I can think of it, where it kind of showed you the road.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. You could kind of figure it out.
Yeah, because in Beyond Earth it was just a web and you could go any direction you wanted, and I threw it away.
Would you recommend this to someone who's not played one of these games before? And if someone who wants to get into this, what would you recommend they do?
I would recommend play Civ 5 vanilla for a little bit and kind of get the feel of how the game itself works. Then maybe jump into 6. But I probably wouldn't recommend it to someone who doesn't really play strategy PC stuff.
I think it would have to depend on their personality a lot more so than most other recommendations.
Right.
Like I think there's a certain sort of person who may not have heard of the game, that it would find it like deeply satisfying, and I would recommend it to them. But it's not like it's a small fraction of the people I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, like IT people, I feel like would like this. People who work with computers, people who like real small logistic parts and intricate moving things, I feel like would latch onto this.
Because people who like are just disgusted by the idea this is a game, I get what they're saying.
Totally.
Yeah. Like it's very
like
fucking it's just very minutia based. Like it's a game that's just around like getting details right. Like it's super fucking boring from a certain perspective, but like I don't know. I lead a boring life and I find comfort in this.
It's almost like
Get
that
off me.
That slightly kind of good feeling you get when you're cleaning the house and you have a bunch of little small goals and you get the house like pretty nice. Civ 6 is like the PC version of that.
Yeah. It's a game based around the fun of cleaning the house.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That was another episode of Super GamesCast 64. You can find us on the Blowout Network whenever there's a big game out. I think we will do Last Guardian and then
Pokemon.
Pokemon Sun and Moon and
next.
I'm sorry. That'll probably be next, right?
Yeah, when is Last Guardian? That's early December.
That's early December.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I want to do a Game of the Year kind of podcast, if that's all right.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Then next year we got
Skyrim for the 7th year in a row.
Yes.
How many years has it been out?
It's going to be Doki Doki. 2011.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, 2011.
Okay,
so 5 years, yeah. But I mean, it's technically a new release.
Yeah.
It's updated.
I'm playing it again.
Me too.
I really want to get it.
It's great. I need to finish Metal Gear 4 before I get back into it. I might have to play Mass Effect as well. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done, but it doesn't matter. Anyway,
I was really taking it as like an opportunity to like start fresh. And,
Yeah.
you know, like really explore things I hadn't got into.
and you're just doing the same thing.
I mean, I hopefully we'll get to that point, but then I just couldn't. I just love Markham too much, and I just want to get my house in Markham, and I haven't progressed past that.
Get the kids, adopt the kids.
I don't know.
They got the
kids.
They got the DLC. You can adopt the kids. You can get the house all nice and
No
become
thanks.
a werewolf if you want.
I'm a lone soldier.
All right. So you can find me in Austin. We do a podcast every week. You can find that. I'll promote it on my Twitter. My Twitter's CrayTreyVids. Helen Smeller.
I'm at Helen Smeller and at SportsSterm.
At SportsSterm. And TC
Mine is also CrayTreyVids.
Thank you. Well, thanks, TC, for coming on. Hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, man. I had fun. Thanks for letting me do this.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, and take care.
Bye.
Bye.